Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Software Engineering Pathway. I'm Sam, and today we are taking the next logical step in our engineering journey. Today, we become solution architects. We are tackling Skill 17, S17, provide recommendations as to the most appropriate software engineering solution. In our last session, S16, we learned to be diagnosticians, identifying and defining the problem. The concept I want you to grasp is choice. A junior developer is told what to build. A senior engineer is asked what we should build. Your goal is to learn how to evaluate multiple options, like build versus buy, and recommend the best path forward based on evidence, not just gut feeling. This matters because in engineering, building the wrong solution perfectly is still a failure. We need to build the right thing. Let's decode the standard. S17 asks for the most appropriate solution. This implies a process. First, you must identify options. Never present just one solution. That's an ultimatum, not a recommendation. Aim for 3, the do minimum option, the strategic option, and the gold-plated option. Second, you evaluate. Compare them. Which is faster? Which is cheaper? Which is riskier? Third, you recommend. You state clearly, we should choose option B. The key word is appropriate. The most technically advanced solution, Kubernetes, might be overkill for a simple blog. The appropriate solution balances technical excellence with business reality, cost and time. How do we generate options? I use the rule of 3. Option A is build. We write custom code. This gives us exactly what we want, but it takes time and maintenance. Option B is buy. We pay for a tool like Salesforce or WordPress. It's instant, but we are stuck with their features. Option C is modify. We take an open source library and tweak it. A middle ground. For example, if the problem is, we need a blog, your recommendation could analyze building a React app, build, installing WordPress, buy, or using Ghost CMS, modify. S17 is about showing you considered all 3. Once you have options, how do you compare them? You use the iron triangle plus risk. Cost, how much dev time will this take? Remember, your salary is a cost. Time, when do we need this live? If, next week, building from scratch is impossible. Quality, does it actually solve the problem defined in S16? Risk, this is crucial. What if the vendor goes bust? What if the library is insecure? A great technique is the weighted matrix. List your options, list your criteria, and score them out of 5. The math helps remove bias from your recommendation. Now you make the recommendation. In modern engineering, we document this using an architecture decision record, ADR, or a proposal. The structure is simple. Context, remind us of the problem. Decision, we will use option B. Consequences, be honest. This means the team will need to learn Python. Every choice has a trade-off. Documenting this is vital. 6 months from now, when someone asks, why did we choose Postgres over Mongo, you can point to the ADR. It prevents circular arguments. How does S17 apply to you specifically? You interpret this at the code level. Imagine you need to handle state in a React app. Your options are Redux, industry standard but complex, Context API, built-in but simple, or Zoostand, new and trendy. You don't just pick the one you like. You recommend. I recommend Context API because our application is small, and Redux would add unnecessary complexity and boilerplate, cost, time. That recommendation shows engineering maturity. You prioritize the appropriate solution over the cool solution. Here is how you can apply S17 tomorrow. Action 1, micro decision. Next time you need a library, say, for formatting dates, don't just npm install the first one. Look at 3 options. Compare their file size. Pick the lightest one. Action 2, the email. When you ask your lead for permission, don't say, can I use library X? Say, I recommend library X over library Y because it is smaller and better maintained. Action 3, write an ADR practice by writing a decision record for a choice already made. Why did we choose React? Write it down. The goal is to practice justifying your choices, not just making them. For your portfolio, use STAR. Show the decision process. Situation, we needed to implement a search feature, but had a very tight deadline. Task, I needed to recommend a solution that balanced speed and functionality. Action, I identified 3 options, building a custom SQL search, hosting Elasticsearch, or paying for Algolia, SaaS. I evaluated them. SQL was too slow for users. Elasticsearch was too high maintenance for our small team. I recommended Algolia. Although it had a monthly cost, it allowed us to launch in 2 days instead of 2 weeks. Result, search launched on time and users loved it. Reflection, I learned that buying a solution is often the most appropriate choice for non-core features to save engineering time. In your major project, S17 is critical in your design chapter. You must include an options analysis. Problem, we need a database. Option 1, SQL. Option 2, no SQL. Analysis. Our data is highly relational. Recommendation. Therefore, we choose SQL. Assesses failed projects that just pick technologies without reason. Don't just say, I use Python. Say, I compared Python and Java and chose Python because of its rich data libraries. Prove it was a choice. Let's wrap up. We've learned that S17 is about being a solution architect. We explored the process, identify options, evaluate against criteria, and recommend with justification. We learned that appropriate means balancing the iron triangle of cost, time, and quality. Your next step is to write that recommendation email. Practice the language of trade-offs. In our next session, we will look at S18, where we move from recommending the solution to actually applying the analysis methods to deliver it. Remember the engineer's motto, there are no perfect solutions, only trade-offs. Your job is to pick the best trade-off. See you next time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you now feel more confident in mastering this topic. If you found value in this session, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and follow our channel. It really means a lot to me and helps the algorithm show these lessons to other apprentices just like you who need support. Don't forget, you can download today's slides and the full transcript at www.mentorinai.com EPA Hub. While you are there, check out our mock interview and portfolio review services to make sure you are fully ready for your EPA. See you in the next video. Keep learning.